And good morning, Hoosier fans, and welcome to an aggravating edition of Hoosier Morning After. A bummer, repeatable, aggravating, continuing to get aggravating, continuing to get annoying. I've run out of adjectives. Edition of Hoosier Morning After. This is Hoosier Morning After Wisconsin. Last night in the very late game, not so many hours ago, your Indiana Hoosiers go on to lose to Wisconsin for the second time this season, 74-69. In a game where, to me, it comes down to execution late. Not only execution by the players, but execution by the coaches. And I get it in this system, and what Woody is trying to instill with these guys is the freedom to call the plays and a point guard driven team and decisions that can be made from those guys and what they want to do. But there's time where you have to realize in the game that as a coach, you have to realize that that's not working, that the players need some guidance. They need some help. They need to figure some things out, and you need to step in and figure that out for them. Now, overall in this game, I feel like it seemed like we ran a lot more plays. There were a lot more cross screens down below to clear things out for Trace Jackson Davis. A lot more movement on the offensive side as a whole in this game for this team. So that's good. That's improvement. But execution late in the game is what it comes down to this. The last 4 minutes of the game, IU is up by 5, but we would only score 3 points and Wisconsin would score 13. I mean, missed bad shot selection, and just blown up plays. When IU had the chance to tie the game and take the last shot down by 3, that play got blown up. Good for Wisconsin. They played that play right. I think you were supposed to go through 2 screens and look to get an open look, but Wisconsin switched on it, and that blew it up for IU. And then the players panicked from there, and instead of backing it back out and trying to find something else to run, or getting a timeout. I don't know if we were out of timeouts there. Or not. We might have been, so we might not have been able to do that, but took a shot with way too much time on the clock, and can't do that. You can't do those things. You can't. Coaches need to be yelling to the guys to reset or figure things out, and maybe need to go back and look at that play and see exactly what the situation was and where maybe the coaches were yelling. And again, it was just execution, but it's frustrating to see us get into these situations after it. Again, it was a very winnable game. And it just comes down to execution late for this team, as it has in many, many games this season. We have been in about 70%, more than 50% of our losses that we have this year have come down to just execution late. Or execution at some point towards the end of the game that does not allow us to get over the hump and get the wins. So is that more frustrating? It kind of is to me. It's a little more frustrating when you could win the game. It's just down to execution and everything for players to get the W and find the situation. And I mean, is it in the psyche of this team? Is it in the identity of some of these players that have been stuck in this for these last couple of years? February has not been a good thing for IU basketball as of recent. February is a tough thing. And is it a mental ghost? Is it a mental skeleton in the closet that the team is struggling to get over? And Coach alluded to that to a degree. And he's kind of been preaching that, obviously, all year in his post shows, and honestly has gotten a little bit aggravating and a little bit broken record for me. And I know maybe for you as well, where he's constantly just saying, I got to teach these guys how to win. I got to teach these guys how to, that's the same thing as I got to teach these guys how to execute down the stretch, how to put games out and finish things off. And whatever you're doing, coach, is not working to teach them that. And I don't think right now you're putting them in the great position to do that. There are times in these games where we have a decent enough of a lead and the substitution patterns get a little questionable. In the first half, we saw it when he does almost a complete line change, and it's nearly a whole bench with not really any scorers, and you're kind of stuck saying, okay, well, who's going to make a basket in this lineup? There are guys that can, yes, but there's no guys in many of those lineups that you feel confident that are going to. And that's not good. Resting far too many players at once that score the basket is not going to do anything for you. I get it. You want to steal minutes. You want to get guys blow as much as possible, but it's gotta be staggered a little bit more. So Woodson has a lot of learning and reflecting to do going into this. And is it stubbornness in his system that he wants to run, and he just doesn't have the guys to do it yet for him? It could be a little bit of that, but put that aside now, because these are the teams that we have, and you have to figure out this late in the season how to execute with them. Let me reverse and change that and say that saying to you now, Coach Woodson. You've got to learn how to win and coach these guys, the ones that you have, how to execute down the line and what winning is. And you're going to have to maybe swallow some of your game plan and everything to do that in these last couple games and get us over this hump in the situation that we are in. Now, there's just been in this season as well, and it's mostly in these home games where I say that IU just lacks getting over that edge and that hump when we get a good sizable lead or a decent lead on teams, and we just don't put the throttle down the rest of the way and put teams away. I mean, just so many moments in this season, especially at home, where the game would have just opened up and gone to double digits, and Assembly Hall was just ready to explode. When I was there at the Illinois game, there's many moments like that. You can just feel it. And a made basket, oftentimes it ends up sadly being a 3-shot. You're willing it, and you can just hear the bated breath from Assembly Hall ready to explode when that ball's in the air, and then it's missed. In this game, there was a great example of this. In a wonderful play, in the first half, Trace Jackson-Davis had the ball in the low post, and you had Trey Galloway, who I thought had a fantastic game, and did the things that he can do, and contribute, and can be a consistent type of game for him, I feel like, where he's going to have better games than what he did, yes, but I feel like that's kind of his consistent level that I hope he finds. But anyways, in that play, you'll remember Trace Jackson-Davis has it on the block. He had a good vision, and Trey Galloway, very Troy Williams-esque, cuts on the baseline. Great pass, and Trey Galloway dunks it. Then the very next play on defense, Trey skips the pass, the line, and intercepts it, gets a fast break, gets another dunk. IU goes down on the defensive side, plays good defense in a post-up, missed hook shot by one of the big men of Wisconsin. Coming down the other way, great energy, great excitement. I think we're up by 5 at that point. And we get an open-esque look for Parker Stewart for 3, and it's missed. And right there, then the air comes out of the Assembly Hall. And I believe there's a bit of timeouts and a couple possessions back and forth. IU would eventually hold things and get the score to 7, score the next basket in the game, and reach it out to 7. But that moment right there is one of those examples where if that basket is made, that gives IU some juice, and that gets things going and gets a Simply Hall in it still, and it just is tough to see those squandered moments. And there were moments again where we brought the lead out a decent amount. Never got to double digits, but bringing it out to 7, like I just said. But then the team seems to relax a little bit, and we're not getting good shot selection. We're not just continuing to execute. We relax too much, and it allowed Wisconsin, who's a good executing team. They're a very disciplined team in that sense, and they execute very well. They've got a lot of maturity and a lot of good players, and they just continue to execute while we are choosing bad shots and just kind of coasting with the lead that we have. And suddenly the lead's cut down to 4 or 3, and they're back in the game, and then we have to turn it back on. And again, that's how I get it. That's how college basketball is. It's a game of runs, but those types of moments cannot be squandered in games. Another theme to talk about that has kind of come up and down for this team this year is, and I spoke about it last game or last show, was IU's had times where we've talked about negatives, and then those things we've been able to turn around and we get better at, and then but other things lack. So first it was turnovers. So IU's kind of gotten better with the turnover situation. We end with 12 in this game. Not the greatest, but kind of there within the realm. Then it became starts in the first and second half. Pretty good starts in this game. Start in the second half, especially as well, is we go on a basically 7-0 run at the beginning of the second half. I mean, we're down 1 at halftime, and then by the, let me see, what was it? By the within the first 6 minutes of the second half, we're up by 7. So good execution. I mean, making baskets on, I think, on 8 of our 10 possessions, 8 of our 9 maybe possessions in the first or the beginning of the second half. So that execution was well. We did a good job solving that problem. And then what was I hardest on last show? The recent play by Trace Jackson Davis. He's been struggling. He's been having trouble being aggressive and getting to the basket and just asserting his game overall and his execution and everything. And he improved greatly in this game. I mean, had one of his best games of the season and ends with 30 points, only 3 missed shots underneath, 10 for 13. Thought he was strong going to the basket and aggressive against Wisconsin's big men, where he struggled in the first game against Wisconsin. And glory hallelujah, out of 14 free throw shots, he makes 10 of them. So he does pretty well. I mean, he missed a few at the end of the game when it counted, and that kind of looks bad on paper, but executed well on that. And the team overall then as well. I mean, we didn't shoot many. Johnson had 2 free throws, and Parker Stewart had 2 from that flagrant call, which ended Indiana 84%, or no, 77%, 14 for 18. But we didn't get a high volume of those. I think Wisconsin shot a lot more free throws. Yeah, goodness gracious. That disparity is pretty bad. 29 free throws they had to our 18. So a little bit of disparity there. But we at least made those. Layups, that's where I struggle a little bit. We missed a little bit more layups. You know, I like to talk about that layup stat, 9 for 18 on layups. So there was a struggle there. Other positives to talk about. Thought Race Thompson had a great game. Did a good job of hustling and everything, getting some good plays, doing the hustle plays that he does. in these games it is really good, and he's the glue guy, and he ends with 13 and is the only one in positives in plus and minus at 5. Everyone else is in the negatives in this game. So again, as the numbers show, a good standard race game. Where we struggled is guard play, obviously, in this game. And Xavier Johnson, who's been good of late, had a struggle game. And that's a tough thing. That's a tough situation to have, because this game was there to win. And Trace did everything he needed to do to get IU the win, and Brace did a lot of things that he needed to do to get the win, and we just lacked a few more supporting things from the guys on the outside for those two guys. Again, I thought Trey had a good game. A few of those threes that he took, maybe slightly ill-advised, but just decent play from the guys underneath, and just not quite decent enough. And execution at the end, I think, is what it comes down to in this game. Coaches need to be better. Guards need to be better. And because of the situation that we're in, now we're looking at February in an all too familiar lens that we don't like to look at as IU fans. And Martha couldn't be on here with me. Martha, I hope your kid gets better. I need my emotional support, Martha, to help me out and get me through these types of games, because, man, it's tough to get up and talk about these games now. And this team is just going to be a team that's going to struggle to execute and find the right things. And when we have had good games, it's because we have had Johnson that has executed well for us and been the rudder for that. And we just didn't have that rudder. And not unlike the first Wisconsin game, where we had a player out because of injury in Trey Galloway that I thought could have been the difference maker in that game. We have another player out because of injury that could have been a difference maker as well. Rob Fennessy. Lander got a little bit extended minutes in this, and he did okay with those minutes. But I would have liked to see Rob. It would have been nice to see Rob out there. And this could have been really a game where we had both X and Rob in there together, and we needed Rob's lockdown defense on Davis. Miller Kopp did okay with him. Trey, I thought, did okay with him. He just blew up Stewart. Stewart couldn't handle him. But Rob being out there, being the lockdown, Jameis Winston lockdown type of defender, would have really helped in this game. So, woulda, coulda, shouldas, never fun to talk about. But would have liked to see Rob out there in this game. Looking at, oh, wow. Twitter just blew up with some information. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but ex-IU women's player Tyra Buss is engaged to Wisconsin's Davison. Wow. I didn't know that. Did you guys know that? Those two are engaged. That's amazing. Yeah, how annoying was that? ESPN, I know you're not listening. I know no ESPN people are ever going to listen to this or hear this, but your programming is getting tough, guys. I don't know if you got producers or directors that are trying to push stories a lot more in these games and trying to tell us stories and everything, and I get that, but I didn't tune in to HBO Max. I tuned into ESPN to hear about sports and watch sports and watch my team. I know you're so thrilled you found a little nugget of story and information to give out during the game, and that's fine. Do it. Tell it. That's a cool story. Great story to tell. Tell it once. Don't keep going back to it. We don't care. No one cares. Is that better than hearing about Duke throughout the game? Maybe. But, that was painful. Anyways, what IU has coming up is not easy, guys. We at least have some time. The guys have the rest of the week and the weekend to figure some things out, to get coached up. The coaching squad has things to figure out. I haven't lost faith in Woody. He is surrounded by the proper staff that I hope is talking to and ingraining in his head some good things to move forward. I hope Thad Matta and him are sitting down for hours in his office and talking through this game and situations and where IU stands and what needs to happen moving forward. Armon Hill, guy he trusts that's in the NBA. All right, now you got me. Whew. And just like the game, execution down late. Anyways, I hope the coach is getting the right words from the staff and figuring things out. We got the good long week and weekend to get things ready for Ohio State. We go there. It's a big game. They need to get this win. They need to get this game to get things back on track, get things going. They're sitting on the edge. They're sitting on the bubble. And how these last 5 games come out is going to decide a lot of things for this season, where we were sitting comfortably. We were sitting in a good spot. We were feeling good. We were having some ups and downs, but things were manageable. And then the Northwestern game happened. And since then, it's been a struggle to figure things out late in this season. So I will always be there to support this team. I will always be there to cheer them on. But things are feeling tough. Things are feeling rough. And they need our support. They need our positivity. We need to put this behind us and exhale like I just did and cheer these guys on. Ohio State, they play again on Monday. Ohio State's doing a pretty good job right now, so it's going to be a tough win. Games on the road are always tough in the Big Ten. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for being here with me, suffering through it these last couple times. It's not easy to get up in the morning and talk about things, but I appreciate you being there, supporting me, supporting this team, and everything moving forward. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter at General Chadwick. There you can find out more information about the show and when I'm going to go live. Even ask questions that I can bring up during the show. Special thanks as always to Bob Thompson for producing the music you hear on the show. I'll be back again on Tuesday, the morning after. Until then, go out there, have a wonderful day.